Teradek booth at the second section of our live show from today, with a very special guest, the CEO of Teradek. Well, actually, I don't know whether we'll go into that in a minute, but Nicol, what have you got new at the show for us?
Well, we've got a couple of new things. As you all know, we started off with the Cube. That was our first foray into the broadcast space, and we've expanded this family. We've also created a new family, the Bolt, which is the zero delay wireless transmitter, which is very popular. But two new products that we're announcing at IBC this year is the Clip.
Let's get a shot of this.
Which is this small guy, and what the Clip does, it really is very similar to the Cube. It's an H.264 encoder with built-in Wi-Fi, but we stripped out everything that adds unnecessary weight. So where Cube has a built-in battery, it's got a metal chassis, it's got an LCD screen, it's got these large connectors. We removed all of that so that the Clip is really, really lightweight, and we specifically did that to target the UAV market, where the weight obviously translates to a longer flight time, the weight saving. So where Cube weighs about 6 ounces or about 180 grams, this guy is only about 50 grams.
50 grams, wow.
Less than 2 ounces. So it's a really big.
And okay, so in terms of performance, how does this differ? Range, battery, what's this? Has it got a battery inside or
this
not?
This does not have a battery inside, so it powers from 6 to 18 volt external DC input, which is typically the battery of the UAV. It's got a nice wide range. The performance is going to be very similar to what you get from Cube, which means without any effort you're going to get about 100 meters or 300 feet of wireless range. You can stream to an iPad, you can stream to an access point. You can also use external antennas on the receive side to really increase the range. We have customers using Cubes in applications that's longer than 10 kilometers apart. So you can do a lot with this.
And have you tested this going live from up in the sky yet recently?
Yes, we've done some serious damage to our little DJI Phantom with this. It's a lot of fun.
Is there somewhere people can see what you've been doing with that? Are there any videos online just yet? Or
Not just yet. We're going to start shipping this in about 3 weeks. So it's out in beta test right now. People can sign up for pre-ordering. We'll definitely be in volume production very soon. And with that, we'll show videos of what there are some material already on our website of what it can do. We'll have some more videos online soon.
How do you configure it? Because I mean, the Cube has all this sort of configuration.
Right. So the reason why we could get away with that, the Cube is a Swiss Army knife, right? It has a lot of functionality. So there's a lot of different options. Do you want to stream to a broadcast television station, or do you want to stream straight to the web, or do you want to stream to an iPad, or do you want to stream to another Cube? So obviously you need an interface to configure all of that complexity. The Clip is a lot more simple. We took out a lot of that functionality and just focused on basically the monitoring application. So this is not sending to a TV station. It sends to either a Cube decoder or it sends to an iPad, directly to an iPad. So by default it comes up and it creates a network access point of its own. So it creates a new SSID, and then from the Cube decoder or from the iPad, you simply join that wireless network. And the moment
but if you wanted to use it for live TV, though, you could basically attach that Cube decoder to.
Correct. So you could take the Cube decoder, and then from that point you could publish it. Okay. So it's very simple. It comes up, creates an access point. The moment the iPad joins that wireless access point, it starts streaming to it. We're using a proprietary streaming protocol in the case of Clip to decrease the latency, and also to make sure that if you do go out of range and you come back in, that it automatically just resumes. So it's not a session-based streaming protocol. It's our own protocol. We call it TDS.
When you say your own, you mean something you've worked on?
Right. It's our own proprietary protocol that we developed, which gives us the best possible latency, and it also gives us the best performance.
Will we see that also in the other products at some point in the future? Or?
It's already ported back to the Cube as well. So it will give you that benefit. And now the other handy benefit of taking out batteries and LCDs and metal chassis is it also drove down the cost a lot, and we're passing on that saving to the customer. The Clip is going to be selling for $599. which is very, very competitive.
How much is a decoder if you want to do that route?
The decoder is about $1,000. That's still a cube decoder. There's no clip decoder yet.
So, in broadcast TV terms, what this actually means is, and I'm not going to name names, but at least one of the major TV agencies, wire services on the globe, was actually was here at the booth. I was overhearing you talking UAVs to them. So there's obviously big news organisations thinking about putting stuff up in the sky with this kind of technology. $1,500 to those guys to get, versus to be live in the sky from a major breaking news story. It's really peanuts. It's not big money.
True, that's absolutely right. And the other application that you can use this for, although it was clearly designed for the UAVs, and that's really the intended application. If you're on a budget and you're using a small camera, be it a small handy camera, a DSLR or something like that, this will be a very handy monitoring device. So you attach this to your HDMI output, and this streams straight to an iPad. It's a very low.
It's going to be very popular on we've seen so many gimbals out there on the show now, and they're all very much weight dependent. So something like this would be perfect for a gimbal.
Correct.
Can you actually record yet the stream from an iPad? You can't, right?
We cannot directly record to the iPad.
Is that coming at some point, or is that just
we've really had more people say they're glad that we don't than the other way around, because there's some, anyone that is really serious about their content is going to be serious about protecting their content, and the iPad is just such an easy tool to remove from a set. So the bigger the production, the more sensitive they are to this. But it's been made very clear to us, if we want to go on a big set, we cannot allow recording on the iPad, because the iPad might disappear, and you don't want Spider-Man 4 to be available on YouTube before it's released by.
That's a very interesting prospect. Okay, what else have you got?
So there's another product that we have here, which is actually also derived from the Cube. This is called the Cube Pro.
Let's have a look at that. You have to bring it up a bit higher.
So this is sort of going in the other direction. Instead of going smaller, which is what we're known for, in this case we went bigger. And the reason for this is we wanted to address the really high-end broadcast news gathering cameras. It's all using shoulder mount cameras with battery solutions on the back of the camera. Rather than mounting it to the top, we wanted to mount it to the back. In this case, we're using a V-mount plates on both sides. We can also use Anton Bauer plates on both sides. We can even mix them. If you have a Sony but you want to power it from an Anton Bauer, we're basically a free converter. But more importantly is actually the changes that we made inside. We started off with the Cube, but then we added an extra CPU to it, which increases the performance substantially. So that means it's
performance in terms of range, or the ability to compress and deep?
Mostly in terms of the compression. So the range is really determined more by the antennas and by the radio, so we didn't change much on that. But this extra CPU gives us the ability to stream out at higher bit rates, which means higher video quality. We can record to the built-in SD card at higher bit rates. It also has looping SDI outputs. We've got
stereo to the camera. Yeah.
We've got stereo audio in, and we've also got IFB feedback coming from remotely, so that the studio can talk back to someone. This does proxy recording if you use it for cinema applications from a camera like the Red or the Alexa or something like that, including the file name, the time code, the start-stop signals, everything is embedded in there.
What kind of proxy format does that record to?
It records a MOV or MP4 files, and it's in the format that most NLEs will support it, including the metadata that we inserted in there. So this is really a very similar workflow. It's all the good stuff from Cube. It's just more. It's higher bit rates. It's more iPad clients, so I'm sure this is going to be a very popular device.
Yeah, it's may I? Can I just?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it certainly feels substantial. And this puts you really in the space going head to head with some of the other companies that are out there doing.
Right. Just like the Cube, that's made from. It starts off as a solid block of aluminum, which we machine out. So that's not a cast. It starts off as a solid block, and we drill out the excess material. Which is by far the most expensive way to do it, but it's also the strongest, and it gives you the feeling of quality.
How much is something like this?
Our price on this has not been finalized, but it's going to be about $3,000.
It's so funny actually. Walking around the show, I've seen quite a few posters basically declaring SDI dead as a sort of means of distribution. I mean, that might be a little bit premature.
I think rumors of its death has been greatly exaggerated. I mean, we're struggling to still get rid of SD.
Yes.
Right, and SDI, HD SDI at least is going to be around for a long time, a long time.
But this at least gets you, the ability to bolt onto a network infrastructure.
Right,
much easier.
absolutely.
For those of you who are going to push the envelope out there, at least try and get rid of a few more cables, if not all of the HD SDI cables in the world.
Lose the cable.
So moving away from the technology, we're obviously very happy that you've been one of our partners, our sponsors, for a number of years now, ever since the Cube, actually, I think. So thank you for that. We love the setup here. Matt and I are very grateful. Well, at least I am. Matt, are you grateful?
Very grateful.
There you go. Something happened the past few weeks which has perhaps changed your setup a little bit?
Something has happened over the last year, which was finally concluded in the last few weeks. We were acquired, by the Vitec Group, which is a very exciting change for us. It was actually a very carefully considered and carefully engineered transition from us.
For people who don't know, Vitec is probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, video.
I think Vitec is the biggest public company in the broadcast space. And Vitec is comprised of a bunch of brands that's really number one in their respective space.
I mean, it's very popular, but it's Sackler,
Venton, Anton Bauer, Autoscript. They've got some really good microwave transmitter systems as well. The Q-Ball robotic camera. There's some really great product lines that they have in there. Manfrotto more on the imaging side.
I mean, obviously they were interested in you. Why did you decide to go with them?
Well, there's two reasons. One is the way that Vitec continues to operate the brands as brands. They don't go in and chop and change. They keep the brands and with a really high retention rate of the people, the talent, the original entrepreneurs. They keep the brand itself, so we'll still be known as Teradek. I'll still be the CEO. We'll have all the sales, the same sales guys, the same sales channel. It's business as usual for us.
As we just user, now, I mean, importantly for people watching,
user, it's everything that you've been used to. Correct. So they just give us more reach. They have a massive worldwide reseller network. They're a very strong company financially.
So that potentially that servicing might become, if you were living in India or somewhere, is it possible that...
Yeah. So we'll be able to reach areas like Brazil, which we've never been successful at penetrating. And they have a big footprint there. We'll also be able to take some technology from the other groups and take some of our technology to them and come up with really good products.
Yeah, because most of their companies aren't really in the electronics space.
Right.
You guys,
so
all about electronics.
Correct. So the second reason why we like them is because of their diversity. If we ended up assimilating with a company that say makes video switchers or a company that makes cameras, the chances are that we wouldn't have been as successful at retaining all of our business. As you know, we focus on cinema, we focus on broadcast, and we focus on webcasting. Those are very different industries. So, the cinema camera companies have no interest in broadcast, and the broadcast, tripod doesn't fit into cinema. But Vitec has been able to span across all of these.
It's a lot of
industries.
expertise under one roof.
Really, the only guys that do that is a group like Vitec, and then the Japanese camera companies, right? And they're not really interested in someone like Teradek. Yes. So I think this is a really exciting transition for us. I'm looking forward to how much damage can we do in the industry with them. I think we can really make a lasting contribution to the world.
I mean, the good thing, this whole thing continues. Teradek continues.
Absolutely.
It's business as usual. If you're a customer, if you bought a Cube, don't think that you might have read the press release or seen the news on one of the blog sites. Doesn't mean that anything's going to change for you.
Nothing is going to change.
Good.
Except by NAB next year, we'll have a lot of exciting products.
Well, hopefully we'll be there to talk about them with you.
I hope so too.
I won't ask you about that right now. But
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nicol, and
thanks for the
congratulations.
support. Thank you.